We'll call this meeting of the Silver City Town Council to order. Please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Those kids. I got it. I ask Councillor Moronis if he would read our mission statement.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Silver City is the hub of an inclusive community settled within a small town that through guided growth honors and preserves its historical, cultural, and natural heritage while facilitating jobs, health, and education resources such that the residents and visitors may enjoy and protect the recreational opportunities of the area and high quality of life.
Thank you. We're going to rearrange the agenda a little bit in light of an event that's going on now, and I did speak to Councillor Whedon-Smith to make sure we weren't going to upset him too bad by making him wait a little bit. But as many of you know, there's a fire in the community just south of town, and the Forest Service has sent their public information folks here to talk about it, and it's just advantageous that they do it at our meeting, even though it's outside of Silver City, because this does get played tomorrow on CATS for the rest of the public. So you have the podium.
Give me time to give you a little update. The team and the Forest Service, the PIOs are tied up with another meeting that are going on right now.
Is the microphone on?
No.
It's on the bottom. It's on the bottom of this microphone.
The tail end of that one.
Yeah.
There. Got it. I think. Try that. How's that?
Can you hear me now? Better?
Just try to.
I thought you were going to say that. Okay, right now, no?
Just try to speak louder.
Okay. Well, right now, the fire it's settled down quite a bit from yesterday. The weather's been in our favor. We got a good handle on it last night. We do have line, I believe, around the whole thing now. They're just mopping up the hot spots now. There have been a number of structures that have been lost. The exact numbers I don't know yet. We'll have people on it probably the next 3 or 4 days, I'm saying, even patrolling, just making sure everything's out cold. Do you have any questions?
Do you want to give out that phone number? Do you have it?
I don't have that phone number.
Just real quick, Loretta Benavides, I'm now with the BLM, and I've responded to this fire with a team of investigators, wildland fire investigators, so I'm not real tuned into the public information function and what's going on there, but if you need a number, we can get that for you before the meeting's over. Okay.
Mayor, I have that number.
I have it right here.
Okay.
The phone number for fire information is 801-869-9725. And that is a long distance number because they're using a satellite telephone. There's a local number. It's the Health Council office that's right there that has some information and can help you out some, is 388-1198. Any questions? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
We're going to skip over the next item as well and go straight to proclamations. And we have a proclamation for Girl Scouts Make the World a Better Place Week, March 6th through the 12th, 2011. And if I could get the Girl Scouts up here to the front. It's a proclamation whereas Sunday, March 12, 2011 marks the 99th anniversary of Girl Scouts of the USA, founded by Juliet Gordon Lowe in 1912 in Savannah, Georgia. And whereas throughout its distinguished history, Girl Scouting has helped build millions of girls and women of courage, confidence, and character. And whereas through dedication, time, and talent of volunteers of different backgrounds, abilities, and areas of expertise, the Girl Scout organization thrives for girls in so many settings. And whereas through Girl Scouting's unique leadership development program, girls define leadership by making the world a better place by discovering, connecting, and taking action in their communities. And whereas Girl Scouting takes an active role in increasing girls' awareness of the opportunities available to them today in math, science, sports, technology, health, and fields that can expand their horizons. And whereas more than 3.7 million Girl Scout members nationwide will be celebrating 99 years of this American tradition, with nearly 50 men and women who grew up participating in Girl Scouting and exemplified the impact of this amazing movement. Now therefore I, James R. Marshall, by the virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the town of Silver City, do hereby applaud the commitment of Girl Scouts has made to America's girls, and proudly proclaim the week of March 6, 2012, or March 6 to the 12th, 2011, as Girl Scouts Make the World a Better Place week.
Thank you to Silver City for buying cookies from the girls. This year I think we sold close to 25,000 boxes of cookies, so girls will be able to go on trips, buy patches, and lots of supplies.
Next item on the agenda is going to be a lot of fun, because we've had a lot of fun over the last few years, and I'd like to ask Councilor Wheaton Smith to come up and join me. It's truly an honor to serve the community, which I've had for many years now, and Councilor Wheaton Smith has ended his term. It's been quite an amazing for me to sit on the council as the one that's supposed to control the meetings and the decorum of the meetings. And we have had some very, as Simon likes to say, robust discussions, but we've always maintained the decorum of the meeting and the respect of each other, and I think that has brought so much to the council and to the work that we've done for the town, as well as the other work that he's done as a councilor. I had asked several years ago if the council would have neighborhood meetings and keep up to date with what's going on in their district, and I believe Councilor Wheaton Smith has had more than any other councilor, and I truly appreciate that. And that truly allows us to represent all of you that we're supposed to. And I've got some funny stories to tell, but I'm not going to. So I would like to present Simon Wheaton Smith, the Councilor of District 3, April 1st, 2007, March 7th, 2011. The Town of Silver City staff and citizens pay tribute and honor to you for your years of service, dedication, and friendship. And it's an honor to present this to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do have to tell a story on me, since he isn't going to. Many years ago, I was a Fed, and the hospital has a helipad. and it needed to be approved. And because I was in Silver City and I was a Fed, I approved it. Well, while I was doing that, I was up there a lot of times, and I kept seeing this paramedic guy wandering around the place, and that's how I met Mr. Marshall. I retired. And then the position came open for town clerk, so I interviewed him. And I thought it was interesting that the town had a paramedic on the interview committee. It is diversity, I suppose. And amazingly, I got offered the position. Day one on the job, the paramedic turns up, so I said to him, "So, what do you do here?" It is a size 10.5, and he did gracefully remove it from my mouth. So I've enjoyed it. It's a wonderful district. I've had nothing but a lot of fun. There have been some hard times, and I am very proud of what the council, the mayor, the town manager, the department heads, and the employees, all of us pulling together, have done through the toughest economic times in 60 or 70 years. And I think that says something for us as a town. So thank you, everyone in District 3 and everyone else. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
We're going to take a short recess, and I invite you to join us for refreshments somewhere. And spend a little bit of time with Simon in his last meeting. So we'll be back right after we've all filled up on the cake. We'll call this meeting of the Town Council back to order. And the next thing on the agenda was public input. Nobody signed in. The next item is council comments. Councilor Beddison, would you like to start?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I want to thank anyone and everyone, because I can't list everyone, who assisted with the fire and with all the residents. It was great to see the community come together and across Grant County, and I just have to say that I really do appreciate all the efforts everybody's put into it, and I know the residents do too. I wanted to mention that I attended Municipal Day on February 23rd, and we learned quite a bit about what was before the legislature, and I know that the mayor knows more than I do about where things are progressing at the present time. And I think at that point they were hoping to talk about the hold harmless, but that was pushed off the agenda, and I don't think it's come up yet, and may not till the end. I also wanted to mention that if you haven't seen these around town, they just came in. They're the Arts Council's mural brochures, and it's got a map of all the murals, and you can do a walking tour. You can also get in your car and go to the murals that are outside the town. So pick these up at almost anywhere, I think, right now, and this is great to have this publicized. This is one of the things that they were requested to do during the allotment of lodgers tax funds. International Women's Day Parade is coming up on Sunday, March 20th. It's going to be at 2 p.m. is when the parade will start. But if you'd like to join in the festivities, they ask everyone to meet at the Grant County, can't believe I almost said the wrong thing, at the Grant County, Silver City Grant County Chamber of Commerce Visitor Center, and to meet at 1 p.m. there in the parking lot. And then they'll walk down Bullard Street and have a good time. It was a lot of fun last year. And the last thing I would like to say, I really appreciate those who came out to vote in an uncontested race. I appreciate you spending the time to do that, and once again, it's my honor to represent and to serve District 1 in the town of Silver City. It's my second term, and I really do thank you. I'll continue to represent District 1 residents in the town to the best of my ability, and I do want to mention, which is something that I know was in one of the papers, I can only do this through the support of the council members and through the support of the wonderful staff we have at the town of Silver City. I mean, without the town manager, the town clerk, and everyone else associated, it's really hard to be a counselor. I mean, this is where all the knowledge resides in the staff. And I really do appreciate it, and I appreciate working with the council and with former, he's gone, Councilor Simon Wheaton Smith. He left really quickly, didn't he?
Did you just call all of us dummies?
No.
Okay.
Did not. Seriously, I did?
You said all the knowledge is with the staff.
No, I said no. Well, I meant in terms of the knowledge also resides in the council, especially our mayor. And I appreciate his leadership on the fire, even though it was not in Silver City proper. That's it.
Thank you.
Thanks for.
Councilor Thompson.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, great job on the fire. These types of fires are really complicated. These urban wildland interface fires, where they involve both wildland fighters and urban fighter fires. It reminds me of a story that I was told a couple of years ago about the cultural differences between the two. If a wildland firefighter was given the task of fighting a fire that started in a bedroom, say in a house, their option would be to, what they would do is they'd come in and they'd say, what we're going to do is we're going to bulldoze the kitchen and light a backfire in the living room. And so they're culturally very different, and for them to communicate so efficiently is very remarkable. So well done. I was also at Jose Barrios helping out with the art project. The principal came up and talked to me and several of the teachers, and they wanted me to know that they've been working on a grant down in Silver City, and they said Robert Escada, I'm really glad to see that he's here, and Peter Pena and Alex Brown have worked really hard on getting this grant, and that grant works with the Waterworks building. It's a spectacular educational opportunity that is hopefully reflected too in attempts to do this sort of thing in Pinos Altos Creek too. There's other schools there that could benefit from that. And also I was talking to a friend of mine that I deeply respect, and she was telling me that community development has been working very hard to fix the tailings in San Vicente. And it's something I'm very concerned about, and I really appreciate your efforts. I'm glad to see that community development is here. That's it.
Thank you. Councilor Rose.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd also like to thank the individual and collective efforts of all the emergency service personnel that throughout the entire county that came together and did a remarkable job in spite of all the chaos that transpired yesterday. Just a wonderful effort in a dire situation. Also, it brings it to light. You know, I've always been somewhat of a fan of a bypass for economic purposes. I always think it'd be really important for us in the future to, for commerce and our economic health in the future to have a bypass road. I tend to wonder if would also serve some importance for health and safety of our community as well. I'd also like to point out that Councilor Wheaton Smith, he did a great job. He's worked with this council for many years. I don't think he ever intended to serve as a mentor to anybody, but I really thought he really was a mentor to me. I believe I gained a lot of knowledge on how to work and read and study and really conduct myself as a counselor, watching his actions. I appreciate his effort.
Thank you. I'm not sure where to start. As many of you know, I've been in Santa Fe for most of the session. I just happened to be home this week for this meeting, and yesterday's came in Saturday. The Hold Harmless, as Councilor Bettison mentioned, is sitting in a committee. It's not moving at this point, and I do not expect it to move However, there are many influences within the state budget that could go wrong, which could cause that bill to get kicked into high gear and move really fast if they have to make up a shortfall. And I'm not going to get into all the other bills. There's a bill that's been actually moving pretty fast that requires motorists to give a 5-foot space between a bicyclist and their vehicle. That bill has had extensive debate and seems to be moving at a pretty good clip. Obviously, the budget came out since our last meeting. It's passed the House, it's gone over to the Senate, and I would expect over the next couple of weeks before it ends that there's going to be some extended discussions with that bill before it moves out of the House. I would expect them to amend it, and then it'll go back to a conference committee, and they'll try to work it out. It was quite frustrating last week with the House pretty much coming to a standstill debating the foreign nationals and driver's license for almost 3 days, I think. And there was no committees or anything going on during that period. But they got past that, and they're back moving forward. The Senate continued to work throughout that. I encourage all of you, you can go on the legislative website, you can search for issues by issue specific that's important to you. You can search by, if you want to know what the legislators from this area or some other area, you can search what they're doing individually. And I can tell you the bills are not an indication of all that they do. I mean, you see some of ours have very few bills, but the work that they're doing and the involvement that they have in their committee work is very, very long, and the hours are getting longer and longer every day. We're working from 8 in the morning till approaching midnight now. So I encourage you to stay educated. If there's a bill you want me to pay particular attention to, make sure you send me an email. My email address is on the town's website, or you can contact the town clerk and she'll get the message to me. Next, the fire. Many of you know that my background's in emergency services, as I've been a paramedic in this town for over 20 years and volunteer fire department before that. And I can honestly tell you, I've spoken with the leaders that are here from all over the state, that the volunteer firefighters in Grant County, the Silver City Fire Department firefighters, they did an amazing job in trying their best to stop the damage that was just out of control, and they were truly risking their lives to save the property of others. And I want to make sure that we commend them. We've got firefighters from all over the state here now. Albuquerque has sent down 1 or 2 engines. Forest Service, State Forestry, all of our volunteer fire departments. We had all the law enforcement agencies in the county committed yesterday. The Red Cross has been a huge help for those that are in the shelter. We don't really have a strong local chapter in Grant County, and maybe this little incident will help drive some more participation with the Red Cross. They truly offer the people that were displaced from their home, and some of them now found out that they've lost their home. They're offering a service to them that's just invaluable at this time. And I would hope that you would support the Red Cross. And there's many other, the restaurants in this town. I'm not going to start naming them. We'll put out thank yous at a later time. But the restaurants all over the town, people have volunteered for food. Herbie's sitting right here. One of the things you don't think about is we put all these people in, it's basically an old Walmart. It's an empty call center now. And there's nothing for them to do but walk around and stare at each other and talk. And when you're stressed, that can just lead to building stress. Well, Herbie today worked really hard, got Comcast to come in and put cable, and got a TV donated from Walmart, and one of his own TVs is now in there, So when the people go in, they actually have some entertainment that they can do. And you're here, I want to thank you personally for contributing that to the effort. I think the people up there as well, they want to see the news. So it's really important to them that's there. And I'm not sure if you understand the value of that as well as they do, but I could tell you.
If I had a liquor license, I would have said about it.
Well, cartoons in this corner and the bar over here. So, but there's just countless people, and this is gonna be an incident in that neighborhood for many days and weeks to come. I can tell you, Senator Morales, Representative Martinez, and County Commission Chair Caston were all in the governor's office yesterday, and we were all talking. Secretary of Homeland Security for New Mexico, Michael Duvall, was contacting us, and that all led up to the governor issuing an executive order for an emergency down here, which freed up additional state resources to get down here and help us. And I've had contacts with all of our elected officials that, obviously it's too early for them to really get involved, and they offer constantly, as we work through issues that involve the federal government and the local governments, they offer to help prod things along and push them, and it hasn't been needed in this case. I mean, people in the agencies have really come together and worked very hard. And I could tell you, I was at the shelter till 9:30, which I'm not bragging, my office is there, so it's real easy to just be there. But to see the faces on those people is just heartbreaking. And last night at 9:30, they didn't know if they had a home. Their pets were unknown, their conditions. It was really, really touching to see how they handled themselves, and that demonstrated that there's some great citizens in this county. And with that, I think we're going to move on. Anybody else have any comments? No, sir. You do? Any changes to the agenda that I haven't already made? Hearing none. Next item is approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of the Town Council, February 21st, 2011.
Mr. Mayor,
Counselor.
I move that we approve the regular meeting minutes of February 21st, 2011.
Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor, I second that motion.
There's a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of February 21st, 2011. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is reports. Mr. Brown.
I don't have any right now, but I'd like the Archie to speak for the bit.
Mayor, Council, City Manager Alex Brown. Can you hear me? Okay. Just want to give you an update, give you an idea of what occurred yesterday. I'll try to be brief. Most of you guys have already read what occurred yesterday. Initially, the fire came in about 1:30. We responded to the off of 90 South, and it was determined that the origin of the fire occurred, I would say, about 200 yards north of the town site of Tyrone. At that point, everybody's aware that we had gusts of winds of 45 to 50-mile wind gusts. At that point, we had the incident commander was Captain Gabriel Gutierrez. He did an excellent job. I think Gabriel's resting up right now. I'm really proud of what he did out there. It was pretty obvious that we were dealing with a beast here, and despite everything that was occurring, he did a great job. We would estimate that the width of the fire was, and I'm not really great at estimating, about 600 yards wide. It was very difficult to determine the direction, other than we figured it was going east. We had all the local volunteer fire departments, state forestries, Forest Service there. We determined into incident that we needed to relocate, and we relocated up near the above the Calvary Baptist Church in that area, so we could get what we were hoping for, more visual contact of the fire. It was very obvious to us, especially to Captain Gutierrez, that it was just overwhelming. He was getting a lot of radio traffic. He was trying to divert people to certain areas. The media was calling. At that point, we had to sit back and determine that we needed to create division chiefs. We assigned Assistant Chief Heydrich to the Ridge Road Division, Captain Eloy Medina to the Southern Division, and these captains were in charge of approximately 20 people at that time, and we were able to coordinate our firefighting efforts. We got reports of fire. It was a runaway train, and we had a lot of firefighters that were in positions of getting burned or hurt. We had, and I'm probably going to get in trouble for not being accurate on this, but we had a radio station from Albuquerque that offered their services to get our captain up in the air with an additional firefighter to observe the fire. And at that point, it was determined that the fire was creeping and going southward. Of course, we got law enforcement involved. I want to thank the police department, state police, Grand County Sheriff's Departments, and I'm sure I'm going to get in trouble for not mentioning a lot of people. I know that Peter Peña, his street department, did an excellent job helping us block off traffic. We had a Type 3 team come in, and Type 3 teams are comprised of state forestry personnel, Forest Service personnel, BLN. These guys are really experts, and I got to tell you that I was really thankful that we were able to transfer the incident over to them, because they were experts in this. Throughout the morning and at night, we've had briefings on morning operations and night operations, and at this point, the fire is I won't completely say that it's contained, but it's pretty close. We're allowing residents to return to their homes right now as we speak. And that's pretty much it. I don't want to go too much into all the details. Because of this incident and the damage that occurred, I had a meeting with the city manager, and I would like to exercise my duties under the city ordinance, the duties and responsibilities, and impose fire restrictions at this time on open flames. And open flames that I'm looking and considering are campfires, open pits, I don't know what the term for in English is, but we call them chimaneas. Anyway, those are the restrictions I'm opposing. I'd like the council and the mayor to take that into consideration.
You know, we talked earlier, Chief, but you know, in previous years we've discussed, as we've done this, the moisture content and the fuel loads, and I think we pretty well took it out of the science hands yesterday. With this fire, demonstrated some extreme behavior with the condition that the fuel is in, and I think your recommendation is extremely appropriate. And we have many areas that in this community that are considered urban interface, and right now, especially right now, all our guys are tired. We've worn out people from all over the state. For us to have another incident of that magnitude in another area would truly be devastating. And so I highly would recommend that you do carry out that, and that the chief and his staff follow through with the enforcement. And as I told the chief earlier, I would like just absolute zero tolerance. I mean, we cannot risk having that fire up on the north end of town. Could have raced all the way to Santa Clara with the fuels that are up on that side, and there would have been no stopping it, and the injuries would have been greater, and obviously the property damage would have been much greater. So I would strongly recommend that you do exercise that power that you're given, and that the chief enforce it with great vigor. Councilor Besson.
I was just going to ask if it would also include, refuse burning in folks' backyard, because how, there's a lot of folks that will do that, or
Yes.
burning in piles of yard waste and things like that, because everything's pretty darn dry.
Yes, I would include that.
Okay, thank you.
Questions for the chief? Once again, just make sure your crews know that their work is appreciated, and we know they're putting in long hours, that they're tired, but it is appreciated, and it was recognized by the state and national staff that they did an exceptional job.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'll meet with the city manager tomorrow.
Mayor, also, something that I was going to report on today, but is being overshadowed by the situation that's happened, is that last Friday, I had a visit from the State Fire Marshal's office. They came to do an inspection of our fire department, and they came and they did a debriefing with me and Assistant Chief Heydrich, and they informed me that our fire department is trained, equipped, and they consider them on the level of fire departments as Albuquerque, the large fire departments in the state. They're very impressed, and they wanted to make sure that I knew it and that you know it. In fact, they said, they're looking forward to the next time that they come to do our ISO rating, because they feel that we've got a very good chance to go down to a 4 or a 3 because of the strides that the department, as far as the infrastructure, these guys have done, the infrastructure improvements with water and the different things. So I just wanted that to be, so we didn't forget that.
For those of you that don't know, ISO is Insurance Services Office. And the lower the rating of our fire department is, the better rates that you receive on your homeowner's insurance. So we're continuing to strive to lower that number, and as well as lowering the rates that you're paying for your homeowners.
It was something that I wanted to bring up, but because of the fire, I didn't think it was important at this time. But I will say that we're very enthusiastic about working and not settling for an ISO of 4. We're actually shooting for a 3. Speaking with the State Fire Marshal, he believes right now we could probably go to a 4. But rather than risk the chance that we regress, we're going to do everything we can to improve our training records. I know the water department has been really instrumental in improving the water mains and fire hydrants in locations that weren't there previously. So, it's going to take some money to buy additional equipment, but we've got a goal as a department to shoot for August, September of 2012. So we can keep our fingers crossed. If they don't withhold any state fire funds, we're certainly going to work at doing that. So we're really excited about doing that. I did see your SWOT analysis that you all met last year. And I don't know if you plan on doing something like that this year, but I would certainly look at that as an opportunity. One of our strengths is our department and the benefits of lowering the insurance premiums to our residents. So please include us in your analysis when you get together.
You're always invited.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
I'm going to get rest.
And I want to make sure and give the police chief a chance to say some, while the fire department was trying to put the fire out and his guys were running door to door trying to get people out of the way. And did you want to report out anything, Chief?
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. Although I was off yesterday with issues, law enforcement, not only from the county, which was the lead agency, the Silver City Police Department assisted, as well as state police, the U.S. Forest Service personnel as well was involved in it. They were involved in evacuation of the area. They set up roadblocks and they've maintained roadblocks within the area throughout yesterday evening all the way into today. They've had occasion where they've had to chase people down who are trying to circumvent the roadblocks just to get to their property. And it's understandable that people want to make sure that their property is okay, but there was underlying issues, logistical issues, technical with power lines down, etc., that there was a need to keep them out on that. Great cooperation. There was very few issues out of this entire incident that presented any problems. Throughout the whole system that was set up, not only fire command, but also law enforcement worked well together, synced. We utilized some of our communications devices, radios that we recently purchased, worked well. Communications with Central Dispatch along with the command center worked pretty well. Still have some issues that we need to clean up, but that'll come in the aftermath.
Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Robert, any report? Peter?
Robert, see the wastewater treatment plant. That's all. That was his priority.
It was very important. The wastewater treatment plant was close to being in the line of fire yesterday, and that is obviously critical infrastructure that would have been very devastating to the town, and I will leave the obvious joke alone. But any other reports? We ready for a hearing? Next on the agenda is a public hearing entitled Approval, Disapproval of Ordinance Number 1177, an ordinance for a map amendment zone change request number ZC 11-01 from commercial to historic downtown commercial for property described as the east 82nd feet of lots 13 and 15, block 65 of the Fraser Addition, and addressed as 505 West Yankee Street, Silver City, New Mexico. The applicants are Ben K. and Susan M. Sherman. The Town Council will serve as the hearing board, and I, as mayor, will be the presiding officer. Have any members of the hearing board had ex parte discussion with any person regarding the subject matter of this hearing, or had any communication from any person to this case?
No.
Yes. Hearing none, you're all qualified. Will all parties and witnesses intending to testify, including those staff members who intend to present testimony or who will be available for questioning, please rise, come to the podium to be sworn in by the town clerk. If you have not been sworn, you will not be permitted to testify or otherwise participate in this hearing.
I, Peter Mitchell,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that the testimony I am about to give
that the testimony I am about to give
in the matter before this council
in the matter before this council
is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Under penalty of perjury.
Under penalty of perjury.
And when you do testify, please state your name.
The hearing will be conducted as follows. The town staff shall present a brief synopsis of the application based on the application or actions taken by the director, by P&Z Commission, or by town staff. Then the applicant shall present their case. Next will come witnesses in support of the applicant's case. The applicant, staff, or witnesses may then be questioned by the hearing board. The presiding officer will then ask the applicant if that concludes its case in chief and states that the proponents and its witnesses will remain available to be further questioned by the hearing board, by staff, or by opponents to the application. Following the close of the applicant's case, witnesses in opposition to the applicant's case shall be permitted to testify, during the course of which the witness may address questions to any previous witness, but such questions shall be made through the presiding officer. The presiding officer shall have the sole discretion in directing the question for response, considering whether the question is relevant, is cumulative to other testimony, or is otherwise inappropriate. Luann, you have the floor.
Thank you. Can you hear me? All right.
I can, but I don't think they can.
Can anyone hear me back there? Can anybody hear me?
Yeah.
I'll talk as loud as I can.
We're gonna send you a microphone.
Oh, okay. Thank you. This is a request for a map amendment zone change from commercial to historic downtown commercial. The location is 505 West Yankee Street, Silver City. The applicants are Ben K. and Susan M. Sherman, owners. The applicants are owners of the property at 505 West Yankee. The property encompasses lots 13 and 15 of Block 65 of the Fraser Survey. The property is located on the corner of Bayard and Yankee Streets and is part of the Silver City Historic District. The block is currently zoned commercial, a zone intended to accommodate a mix of commercial uses. However, the neighborhood actually consists of a mix of commercial and residential uses. As you can see in these photographs, this is the home of the applicants. This is the house, the residence next door. These are residences directly across the street. And this residence is directly behind Dr. Sherman's house. Then we have Joe Keneally's office here, and I believe Silver Architects and some other commercial uses in this building. And the Department of Labor on Broadway and Bayard. So you can see it is a mix of commercial and residential. With the adoption of the new Land Use and Zoning Code of 2010, a new zoning designation was created, the Historic Downtown Commercial District. This classification is intended to accommodate a mix of commercial uses, mixed-use buildings, and residential buildings in the historic central business core. It is likely that this block will be included in that new zoning designation when the new maps are drawn. The main reason for this zone change request is that the properties zoned commercials have a higher mortgage interest rate than those zoned residential. This makes it harder to buy, sell, or refinance the property, even though the actual use of the property is residential. Another hardship for property owners in this situation is that residential uses are considered non-conforming in a commercial zone. Non-conforming uses have a number of restrictions, including the inability to expand, extend, or enlarge structures by more than 25%. The new zone designation will eliminate those restrictions. On February 1st, 2011, the Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing during their regular meeting to hear this request. The Commission reviewed the application, deed, site plan, staff report, and other supporting documentation, along with sworn testimony given at the public hearing. The Commission found that the proposed amendment will not adversely impact the public health, safety, or general welfare, and will promote the original purposes of the Land Use Code. And further, the proposed amendment responds to changed conditions, such as changes in assumptions on capital investments, road locations, population trends, land committed to development, density, use, or further studies that have been completed since adoption of the Land Use Code. These findings fulfill the requirements stated in Section 6.3.2 of the Land Use and Zoning Code of 2010. Do you want me to read all the findings that need to be met, or only one needs to be met of
You don't-
7.
Yeah, you don't have to read them.
Okay.
We need to pick one or more when we make our motion.
Right. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommends approval of this amendment zone change. The mix of residential and commercial property is a legacy of the early growth of Silver City before zone designations were established. No conditions are recommended. I forgot to show you the zone map, but right there in the commercial area is Dr. Sherman's house. And as you can see, it's very near residential B and residential A, but it is the historic downtown area.
Does that conclude your report, Luann?
I'm sorry?
Does that conclude your report?
That concludes my report.
Any questions on the staff report? Councilor Bettis?
I do have one question about the fact that the new zone still has commercial in the name, and whether or not that's going to impact loans.
That question came up at the commission meeting also, and Peter Russell explained that we'll be writing letters to lenders, particularly lenders for mortgages and things, that this new designation is to acknowledge the existing mix without compromising the commercial or residential uses. And if the word commercial appears to be a barrier, then we will ask the council to change the wording of the designation.
Mr. Russell, do you want to respond?
I've talked to a couple of realtors about that concern. The issue is, what is the exact use that the building is being used for? If it's being used for a residential purpose, then they should get a residential rate. The word commercial was included in the downtown district to acknowledge that there are, in fact, lots of commercial uses there. This is a little different from the areas that we're thinking about being mixed use, with there are very few commercial uses. However, the purpose is to allow people to use their property in a manner that accommodates the historical uses and allows them the greatest freedom in terms of financing their property. So we believe that this will be adequate to resolve the financing issues. We will certainly provide any kind of documentation that a lender might ask. And if it's really a barrier, then we'll come back to you.
That answers the question.
Okay. Dr. Sherman, do you want to present your case?
Ladies and gentlemen of the board, the interest rates right now are historic lows because of the way the lenders are lending money. They're lending them through Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and under this organization, they are not allowing any commercial at all. And when I bought the property for my daughter, who was interested in commercial enterprise there, I was paying 9.5% commercial. And then we hit the bust, and now, and it's very hard to find people of commercial interest, that would be interested in renting my property. But I have a much better idea of using this for residential, and residential rates are 3.125, versus 9.5, and this would make a huge money loss for me right now, in a much more favorable sense. So I'm requesting that the board support me in allowing me to access myself, to residential, commercial variances.
Questions? Do you find that the historic designation is appropriate?
I've asked the lenders about that, and they said as long as it's intent, if your intent is to sell it as a residential, or to use it residentially, they don't have a problem with it.
Do you feel that it fits the character of the neighborhood?
I do.
Thank you.
It was kind of funny because in prerequisite here, I was to contact roughly 35 people in my vicinity, and many of these I contacted verbally, and it was kind of funny because I got the feeling like I was the only one that owed money on my house. Everybody else has already paid for theirs, and they're going, really, but I was paying, like I said, 9.5%, and I'd like to get out from under that if I can. But anyway, I'm a harbinger for future planning commission requests, that they want everybody to, they're going to allow more versatility in this area. And I had absolutely no negative, everybody was fully supportive of this position.
Anything else?
Not unless you want to ask more questions.
Does that conclude your case in chief?
Yes.
Are there any questions for the applicant? Is there anyone in opposition to the application? Nobody swore in, but I got to ask. The attorney does backflips when I don't. Hearing none, I'll ask you again, if there's anything else you wish to be reflected in the record.
Not at this time.
Are there any questions from the board? Is the hearing board prepared to consider the application and render its decision?
Yes.
I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move for approval of ordinance number 1177, an ordinance for a map amendment, zone change request number ZC 11-01, from commercial to historic downtown commercial for property described as the east 82nd feet of lots 13 and 15, block 65 of Fraser's Addition, and addressed as 505 West Yankee Street, Silver City, New Mexico.
Mr. Mayor, I second the motion as stated.
There's a motion and a second to approve. Would you state a finding?
With the findings that the proposed amendment will not adversely impact the public health, safety, or general welfare, and will promote the original purposes of the land use code.
Is it in addition to your motion? Yes. Is that friendly?
Yes, I accept.
There's a motion to approve ordinance number 1177 as read and on the agenda as printed, with the finding number 2. Number 2. Is there any other discussion? There's a motion, a second, and no further discussion. Roll call, please.
Council Morales?
Aye.
Council Thompson?
Aye.
Council Benson?
Aye.
Mayor? May I confirm the finding?
Number 4. I'm sorry. The finding's the same. The number was wrong. It didn't change the motion. Motion carries.
Thank you, members of the council.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor,
Counselor.
I move for a short break.
Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor, I second that motion.
There's a motion, a second for a short break. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're in recess. Let's call this meeting back to order. And the next item on the agenda is unfinished business. Item A, approval, disapproval of resolution number 2011-08, authorizing the submission of a WaterSmart Water and Energy Efficiency Grant Program application to the U.S. Department of the Interior.
Mayor and Council, as you know, at the last council meeting, we had quite a bit of confusion as to how this grant was actually working. We went back and clarified it because it did change a little bit from what I was originally briefed on. I met with the Office of Sustainability. I'm sorry, and Robert Esqueda to clarify things. And basically, what we're applying for is a total of $490,000. The total grant would be $490,000, $420. The funding that we're asking for from the federal agency is $442,420. What is being is dedicated as matching funds is $175,000 from the town of Silver City for $105,000 for high efficiency pumps, $45,000 for soft starts, and $25,000 for meters. That is to be matched 50-50 with federal funding, so we're asking for $210,000 total for the motors, $90,000 for the soft starts, and $50,000 for the meters. We've already, as leverage funding, we've already recently installed soft starts at one of our at the Woodward boosters. That was we already paid $13,000 for that, and then we've already started working on the plans and specs, which is $25,000 that we're already paying out of the water sewer fund. Santa Clara, who is a co-applicant, would be paying matching $30,000 for the motors, requesting another $30,000 for a total of $60,000 for the high efficiency motors, and then they would ask for $5,000, of which they would match $5,000 for plans and specs for those motors as well. We're also asking for $31,000 in administrative fees, as well as $800 to do the reporting. So basically, that's what would happen is, in addition to the $38,000 that we have already spent, we would be matching $175,000 for the motors, the soft starts, and the meters. And basically, we would be continue doing what we're already doing. Which booster pumps that we would be doing these at?
Frank's and Woodward.
Okay. The motors and the soft starts would be installed at the Frank's and Woodward's booster pump, and those are part of the system that we haven't replaced the motors with the high efficiency and the soft starts, which make the motors much more energy efficient. So what we would be doing is putting out, basically expending $175,000 over fiscal year 2012 and 13 over a 2 fiscal year period. So we could split it up over those 2 fiscal years. I did do some math on the return on the investment. We would get a return on our investment, the $175,000, in approximately a little bit over 5 years because of the energy savings that we would get from the new motors and the soft starts. Questions?
Comment. I just want to say thanks for clarifying over the previous meeting. This really helped. The table really helped a lot.
Yeah, it helped me figure it out too, because I know it was a little bit complicated. And we did, once I was briefed by everybody and we got all on the same page, it was very easy to justify and proceed.
The mayor has to leave. I'll take over the meeting. So thank you. Are there any other questions?
I just do want to mention, we have replaced a lot of our motors with high efficiency motors on our at the well fields already. We've made a significant investment, and most of that, and we've already received our return on most of that investment. Through those capital investments that we've made on the motors, the energy savings have been significant, so significant that the return on investment is very quick when we do these types of things.
Yes,
Make a comment.
Councilor Thompson.
Thank you. I really appreciate that you're working with the Office of Sustainability. I think our energy prices are just going to be going up, so anything that you do is great. So thanks for doing that.
And yeah, they do a good job. And this was originally started when Robert recommended that we start going to the high efficiency motors, and the soft starts probably about 5 years ago, I think. And like I said, we've started seeing significant savings in our electrical costs from pumping. So I believe they're a very good investment for the town.
And I just want to say thank you very much also for clarifying the total amount of the grant, because that makes more sense now that we're actually going for a much larger grant and having matching funds.
And what's good is that we're working with Santa Clara, so they will be taking advantage of what we've been doing as well.
I think it's a wonderful to be able to partnership with them that way to bring their some of their water up to code as well and move it forward towards the regional water system. So. Okay. Any further questions or comments? There being none, do I hear a motion?
Ms. Mayor, Pro Tem, I move for approval of resolution number 2011-08, authorizing the submission of a Water Smart Water and Energy Efficiency Grant Program application to the U.S. Department of the Interior.
I'd like to second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 2011-08, authorizing the submission of a Water Smart Water and Energy Efficient Grant Program application to the U.S. Department of the Interior. All those in favor signify by roll call. Roll call.
Council Moronis?
Aye.
Councilor Thompson?
Aye.
Councilor Edison?
Aye.
Thank you.
I don't have a gavel. Motion carries. You can, do I hit it before or after? Yeah. Before or after? When do I hit it?
Just hit it.
Motion carries. Okay. Sorry. I don't do this very often, and it's kind of thrown for a loop when. Okay. The next item on the agenda is under new business, item A, approval, disapproval of resolution number 2011-10, a resolution supporting an application for a New Mexico Department of Transportation Municipal Arterial Program MAP funding.
Mayor Council, what this resolution is it's supporting an application for Phase 2 funding for a street and drainage project on College Avenue. We received Phase 1 funding this year, and that funding will take us all the way to College. What this application will do is it'll look for additional funding to take us from College all the way to East Street. It'll include paving, repairs to curb and gutter, repairs to sidewalk, signage, striping, and ADA ramps and drive pads.
It's on College.
On College.
From
Cooper. Cooper. I'm sorry. From Cooper to East Street.
Okay.
And there's no. It's just authorizing the application because we have not done any preliminary design. We don't have any dollar amounts yet. So once we get that, and if we are approved, then another resolution has to come to the council accepting and saying that we will be able to match whatever grant that is approved. And that's the time that we will give you a dollar amount. This is just authorizing us to submit the application.
Alex, are there funds available to match the grant? The application.
They would let us know after July. So it would be funding
It'd
next
be
fiscal
funding
year.
for next fiscal year, so we don't know until we are awarded the grant.
Right, but we can build it into the budget.
Yes, we can build it into the budget. We're far enough ahead that there is time that actually this project could actually be funded like the last one between fiscal 2012 and 13.
Okay.
We do have some rough estimates, and it looks like the total grant amount would be about $650,000, and it's a 75-25 match, so we would be looking at about $162,000 as our match if we would be funded, totally funded.
And that's something that we could do, especially if we split it between 2 fiscal years.
Okay. Any questions? I have a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move for approval of resolution number 2011-10, a resolution supporting an application for New Mexico Department of Transportation Municipal Arterial Program MAP funding.
And I'd like to second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded to, make sure I'm in the right place, to approve resolution number 2011-10, a resolution supporting an application for New Mexico Department of Transportation Municipal Arterial Program MAP funding. Roll call.
Council Morales?
Aye.
Council Thompson?
Aye.
Council Edison?
Aye. Motion carries. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
It's really unusual to be doing this. There's supposed to be someone right there doing it. I'm not in the right place. The next item on the agenda is item B under new business, approval, disapproval of a special dispenser permit application and waiver of New Mexico statutes 60-6B-10 for a beer garden on April 30th, 2011 at 703 North Bullard Street during the SRAM tour of the Gila's 25th anniversary event. License holder, Red Barn, 708 Silver Heights Boulevard, Silver City, New Mexico. Please state your names.
Hi, I'm Michelle Giels. I'm president of Tour of the Gila.
And I'm Jack Brennan. I'm the race director for Tour of the Gila.
Oh, and we have Nick Seibel present. We're also working with him at the Silver City Mainstream Project on this. And I see he's here too. So we are requesting your approval this evening for a special dispenser permit and a waiver of the state statute 60-6B-10 since our event is going to be taking place within 300 feet of the Episcopal Church of the Good Shepherd. We have been in touch with them, and they have approved. And you also have a letter that's included in the package of their approval of the event. This is our 25th year of the Tour of the Gila, so we want to have a lot of celebration this year. And we have our downtown criterium on April 30th. It's a Saturday where they close the streets and the races take place all day doing laps. So along with this, we'd like to have an expo this year, and it will include a lot of vendors and a kids zone, live music, and we are hoping for this large LED screen. We're working with a company doing live broadcasting this year, so we'll have live coverage of the race as well. And along with that, we would like to have a beer garden, and the Red Barn is involved with us. And we're bringing in also the celebration of spring that's traditionally the following week?
Was scheduled for the week before.
The week before. And put these events together and just have one great big celebration. So we would like to have your approval to have the beer garden. It's going to take place between Morning Star and Western Stationers. There's a great big area, 2 parking lots that are adjoining each other. So all of these things would take place within this area. So we would like to attract more spectators with this, bring in more people, and improve economic benefits. You want to say anything, Nick?
Just that Main Street's been a big supporter of the Tour of the Gila and having the downtown criterium, and we're excited because this is an opportunity to bring even more people downtown on that Saturday and turn what's a great thing for the community at large into a great thing for downtown as well. If y'all have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Councilor Benson.
I do have a question. Can you give me a little bit of orientation on this map? I don't know where Bullard is, and I don't know where North is on here, so...
Certainly.
So trying to put it in space was questionable.
It's in the 700 block of Bullard.
But on this...
On the map.
Oh.
Where's Bullard on this map?
That map is just the beer garden. Let me give you...
Yeah, but that's what I need to know is where the beer garden is.
Where is this?
That is-
That's Bullard Street.
This is Bullard.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so they would be entering from the back end?
Right, where the vendors would be, it would make people walk into where everything's happening. So music is on one side, vendors are all in the back and down the side of Western Stationers and in the Morningstar parking lot. So it'll bring people around and into the midst of everything.
And we're excited because we feel like that location is ideally situated because it'll be up against Bullard Street so that they can see the race go by and participate in that. But it'll also be situated so that from the beer garden you'll be able to see the stage where the entertainment will be, which will be up against the wall of Morningstar there on their porch that runs along the wall.
Okay, so the actual beer garden, is that in the dirt lot?
Yes.
Yes,
Right, because
of Western
there's a
Stationers.
little kind of,
Right.
little, not really trees, but
There's
little
trees
saplings
between.
that are kind of
Right.
in between.
And where that exit is marked there, that's the driveway out of the Western Stationers parking lot.
Thank you. That helps a lot. Thank you very much.
Any other questions? We can answer.
I just say, I mean, I've worked with Jack and Michelle for several years now, and this is truly a keystone event in Silver City, having the race. I don't drink, so I'm often puzzled by the need to have alcohol at every event, but I'm also not great at marketing, so if that's what you feel enhances your event and the value to the spectators, then I would not object. I really hope that throughout the years we can continue to grow the race and get the sponsorships that we've been working for.
Right.
And I think truly both of you should be honored and recognized for the time and effort, the contributions that you've put into the race, which effectively is putting into the town and the county as a whole. And I don't think you get the recognition for that you deserve. And so,
well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
In lieu of anything more formal at this point, please accept that your effort is truly recognized and valued.
We appreciate it.
Councilor.
Just one more question. For those of us who don't imbibe alcoholic beverages, are you going to have, if we want to go in and join some friends, I know we have to show ID, but are there going to be non-alcoholic beverages available? Because I don't think you can bring them in or take them out like a bottle of water. You're not going to be permitted.
I think you're right. It would function much like the beer garden at the Blues Fest.
But
I don't think there's anything, as far as at the Blues Festival, I don't think they offer any soft drinks or water. But we can certainly work with Brian from the Red Barn on that.
Right.
Given how hot it is, it might be something where...
Yes, it's a good idea.
And it would be appropriate to have bottled water available.
Sure.
Yeah,
okay.
We'll work on that.
And to speak to your concern and also what the mayor said earlier in his comments, we're here today obviously to ask for the celebration permit for the beer garden. But the beer garden is actually just a small part of what the overall Tour of the Gila Celebration of Spring Expo is. I think the kids zone, the musical entertainment, the booths, all of those things are going to be a much bigger part of what the event is, and of course those will be open to all ages. This is just sort of one extra amenity maybe for people that do enjoy having a drink, a place for them to be, but certainly it's not something that will exclude anyone.
Great, thank you.
We can have the beer and Gatorade sponsored.
We got the Gatorade booth inside the beer garden.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move for approval of a special dispenser permit application and a waiver of New Mexico Statute 60-6B-10 for a beer garden on April 30th, 2011 at 703 North Bullard Street during the SRAM Tour of the Gila's 25th anniversary event. License holder, Red Barn, 708 Silver Heights Boulevard, Silver City, New Mexico.
Mr. Mayor, I second the motion as stated.
There's a motion and a second to approve. Is there any other discussion? There's a motion and a second. No further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sorry. We're down to C, right?
Yes, sir.
Next item is approval, disapproval of resolution number 2011-09, declaration of vacancy on town council and notice of intent to appoint. And if I can find it, I'll just introduce this. You know, as I think everybody knows, we had elections last week. Councillor Bettison was elected in District 1. Kyle Von Holtum was elected in District 3, and he was sworn in on Thursday, March 3rd. The 3rd, and then he promptly turned in a resignation. That leaves a vacancy on the town council. We did extensive research, as strangely enough there is some conflicts within different bodies of law that we're required to follow, and came up with the resolution that's before us tonight, which would allow us to proceed with the filling of the vacancy. There's within that the law, we are allowed to request petitions, and that period is open for 30 days. Once we receive petitions, they must contain 5% of the qualified voters in District 3. If we receive more than one, we'll consider all of them, and I'll make a recommendation. The council will accept or reject my recommendation. If there's one, we obviously as well have an option of rejecting that. And it is important to note, on partisan races, you're not allowed to sign more than one petition for the same office. In this process, if there's 5 people that are handing out petitions and you feel the urge to sign all 5, you're more than welcome to do that. Your signature will count on all 5 petitions. So that is a difference from what we're used to. And if we don't receive any petitions, then after the 30 days, I will make a recommendation, and the council will accept or reject my recommendation. And that is pretty much sums up Resolution 2011-09. Any discussion?
Can we ask the town clerk to discuss the process for the petition, how many voters are 5% and recommendations thereof, and then what happens once the petition's been submitted?
Okay. The nominee for petition would have to obtain 5% of the registered voters in District 3. That number, as of Monday, was 1,824. So 5% would be 92 registered voters. So the petition just has a list of numbers, and there are columns where the person signing would have to sign their name as they're registered with the county clerk. They'd have to print that name as registered with the county clerk, put their address as registered with the county clerk. And when I get the petition after 30 days, the 30th day will be April 7th. So when I get the petition, I will have to qualify every single signature. So it's important that people print clearly, and it's important that the nominee does his or her best in obtaining signatures of people that are electors of District 3. There's also a form that we're still in the drafting stages, and it would be to actually qualify the nominee, the person that's interested in holding the office. And it's the same process we use when a person declares their candidacy during an election. We'll just use that same form, tweak it a little bit to apply to this situation. But I would qualify the nominee to make sure that they are a registered voter of District 3, that they reside in District 3. The person actually fills out a form, it's notarized, and they're affirming that they are a resident of District 3, registered voter of District 3. They're not a felon, different things are on that form. So I would accept that form with the petition on April 30th. And at that time, I would have to qualify the nominee and all those signatures. So I may need a couple days to do that. I'll have to work with the county clerk to qualify all those persons.
That's a lot of work. Thank you.
Their name has to be exactly as it is on their registration?
Yes.
To sign the petition?
Yes. In fact, the column says as registered.
Okay, that's really important for those of you. I mean, when we fill our forms out to run for office that we've done, we have to write our name exactly as it is on our voter registration. Make sure all 92 signatures write it exactly like, because she's not going to be allowed by law to accept names that are not identical to what is registered in the county's books.
So they may want to get more than 92 signatures, just to have a little cushion there.
Come on up, Bert.
From the article in the paper, if you receive no petitions with 92 signatures, you as the mayor can suggest somebody else.
I, as the mayor, make a recommendation and the council accepts or rejects my recommendation.
In a way, the fact that there might be 91, 102, or 40 names on the petition really doesn't matter, as long as you and the council understand that somebody is interested in serving their community.
That is the...
Not so?
That is, technically you are correct. However, and I'm not going to speak for how the other council would consider the process that's laid out within the law, request the petitions, and I would think putting in some of that effort to get those names on a petition should show some commitment, of which is a current situation of why we're not here, or why we're here today. Any other questions? Questions from the audience? Anybody? Any comments, questions from the council? Entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve resolution number 2011-09, declaration of vacancy on town council and notice of intent to appoint.
Mr. Mayor.
I'm going to call on Councillor Thompson.
I move to second it.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2011-09. Is there any other discussion from the council? There's a motion and a second to approve resolution 2011-09 and no further discussion. Roll call.
Councilor Bedison?
Aye.
Councilor Thompson?
Aye.
Councilor Morales?
Aye.
Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is another one of my requests. I have requested that we reschedule the meeting on March 22nd to March 23rd. We do have this very same room reserved at the appropriate time, and my reasoning is I was selected to represent the town in a process that I feel is very important to the town, and they are scheduling those meetings and discussions from all over that I feel it is important that I fulfill that nomination and attend those meetings and represent the town in that process. So I requested that the town clerk add the rescheduling of the regular town council meeting scheduled for March 22nd, 2011, and would recommend that we have it on the 23rd, same time, same place.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the rescheduling of the regular town council meeting scheduled for March 22nd, 2011 to March 23rd at 6 p.m. Here in the Grant County Commission's chambers.
Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor, I second that motion as stated.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Discussion? Look like you're about to pop. There's a motion and a second. No further discussion to reschedule the meeting that was normally scheduled March 22nd, 2011 to March 23rd, 2011, same time and place. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Councilor Whedon-Smith is no longer here.
Oh.
Somebody will have to make a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Mayor, I second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We are adjourned.